And let's have Midnight come in. All right. Midnight, can you hear or see me?
I see.
Hey.
Can you?
Awesome. Yes, yes. Let me see. I see
Hey,
you.
how are you? Shut
Let
up.
me let me put you a spotlight so we can all see you. Awesome,
How
awesome.
is everybody this morning?
Yeah, Miranda, go first. Let's share a little bit how we all doing this morning.
Doing good. Just had some coffee, good breakfast, ready to take in some
Ooh,
knowledge, some
what do
history.
we eat for breakfast? We hungry too.
Uh, my husband's a little bit of a chef. He made a hash brown mix with some eggs,
Mm-hmm.
some sausage, and then a little
Oh,
cake after, just for those.
what's your address? Me and me, James, we can be over there in 20 minutes.
Yeah, yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right. I
Might
haven't
take
had
you a
breakfast.
little while.
Okay.
We're in Calgary,
Colin can
Alberta. It
come
might
too.
take you a little bit.
We'll figure it out.
Nice. Colin, how about yourself? How are you doing this
Yeah,
morning?
doing well. Had some crepes myself. I did not make them myself, but I had them. But yeah, but it's a pleasure to meet you, Midnight. Excited to hear what you have to say.
Pleasant to meet you too, sir.
Yeah. And then myself, yeah, man, I just got up like 10 minutes ago, so I haven't eaten nothing, but
Where do you live at, James? You
I'm
live out
in
here.
I'm in Long Beach now.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
part of Long Beach?
Like downtown Long Beach, like where the aquarium is, like the
Okay.
that area where the stadium, they have that stadium, the Staples Center kind of in Long Beach. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I'm here now, and then 2 years ago I was living more in downtown LA, like Pico Union, like
I
where that.
remember you was
Yeah,
telling me.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, man, it's been an adventure too. It's crazy because I remember, man, Midnight, like the first time I think I met you was like probably like 7 years ago when I first moved out to LA. I was with my friend, and that was our first time we met. And then I would see you, here and there, either
Mm-hmm.
with Boogie Bot or I know Flat Top performing or
Right, right, right.
different. Man, there's other names I haven't seen in a while, so
Time went by so fast.
right?
A lot of people that are quote unquote superstars now, I was seeing them when they were kids because everybody would go to Homeland.
Yes,
2001, 2002, 3, 4, the West Coast stuff in LA, Southern Cal, everybody was at Homeland.
right.
Everybody that you can think of that's that's popular or whatever, they
Yeah,
used to go to Homeland. That
wow,
was the spot. That's how they started their careers.
wow. Yeah, and Homeland, it's still happening. Right? Is it
It
still?
is, it is, it is. Iceman still does it on Mondays, trying to build it back up. After the picnic on Monday, I'm trying to build it back up to Homeland. But now everybody's grown up.
Uh-huh.
They gotten used
Damn,
to it and they want to try to do their own things, stuff like that. So
right,
they need to push the newer generation start going to Homeland and start getting the knowledge in,
right, right.
So
No,
it's understandable, But no,
yeah.
Iceman's still there.
Okay, okay. I think there in do you know Yaya? You know
I
Yaya.
know, yeah, yeah.
So Yaya's having an event. I'm not sure if you're aware of Unimate. It's
Yeah, she doesn't really talk to me, but I see it. People tell me about it, But
Mhm.
I mean, it's cool. I guess the robot animation.
Right, which is kind of what's this that kind of influenced why we've been doing these interviews, hearing people's stories about robot animation. But I think in Unimate it's no, July 5th, but that whole week.
That
I,
whole weekend.
I,
That's
I
Fourth of July weekend.
yeah, it's that whole week, like July 1st to the 5th, I believe. But I think, man, it'll be great if one of those days, because a lot of people like Colin, he's coming from Utah. There's people coming from all over.
Okay.
It'll be great to either go to Homeland or to, if you're having something too, like connect with you afterwards. And
We were
no,
thinking because that's Fourth of July weekend.
yeah,
A lot of people do the fireworks and stuff. Um,
yeah,
but no, I'm always available.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
always available.
yeah. We'll figure something out.
Figure something out. The when she had the last time, that's when I first saw Ebony from UK.
Okay,
She came
yeah.
in person and she's like, "Man, I gotta meet you, this, that, and the other." I'm like, okay, let's hook it up. And a couple of other people. Um, See, Jane, what people gotta understand, a lot of the newer generation, they're so used to studios.
Mhm.
They're used to events. When the real activity and the real actions and mindsets is in the streets.
Mhm.
It's in the communities. It's
Mhm.
uncontrolled environments, but that's where you get the real thoughts, the real processes, and you catch people really as they are.
Yeah.
Then you can understand and see, like, okay, it feels like this. Then you'd see the difference, you
Yeah.
know?
And I want to go into that too of your experience. Like, what have you picked up? What have you learned from street performing, like real street performing, really being out there in the public with people you don't know every day? Like, I want to touch up on that. But before, I guess my first question I want to ask is, how did you get into this dance? How did that begin? Getting into the robot and mannequin and
Okay. I started in 76 when I
oh,
really started getting into it. But my mom, by me being little, I came from Detroit. I came out here when I was 3.
okay.
So my mom was also an artist and she was also into dance.
Hmm.
Um, the parties, just the regular dance. And then I'm watching a lot of television shows.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
Soul Train, American Bandstand, Carol Burnett, Flip Wilson, the variety shows, and they have different acts. So by me being a kid, little, watching that, watching a lot of cartoon,
Hmm.
and I got into the drawing. But then she's playing music on okay. In cultures, in Black cultures, Hispanic cultures nowadays, but back then, Saturdays was cleanup day and
Hmm.
clean up the house. So in my family, they'll turn on the music, the radio, and
Hmm.
they'll turn on the records, play the 45s and the 33s. So that's when I'm hearing music over again and watching shows from the disco perspective. And then we had the 8-track tapes. So I'm listening to music and going to when my mom would take me to little family get-togethers, and I'm watching the older kids and stuff dance. They're doing the party dances. They're doing the funky chicken. They're locking, the
Hmm.
jump. And I'm a kid, so I'm watching all this. And then my mom, she taught me how to two-step.
Hmm.
That's the first dance you're gonna learn. And I'm just speaking from my perspective. Can't really speak to nobody else, but I'm watching the two-step. So ages 4, 5, 6. I'm watching cartoon. I'm watching Gone Show. I'm watching Dance Fever and come on like 78, 79.
Hmm.
But it was really American Bandstand and Soul Train. And
Hmm.
then I had the radio. So naturally, James, when you hear music, you're gonna start dancing. You're gonna feel it, you
Hmm.
know. So I'm dancing and I'm seeing all the locking from the different programs in the streets. I'm
Hmm.
seeing the older kids going to parties, jumping off tables, splitting, trying to do robot and sliding, and then party dancing. And I'm sucking all this in and watching. And I just started doing it. I just started from my mom.
Hmm.
She wasn't really a locker per se, but she was into that party dance. She wasn't out there in a negative way,
Right.
but she'd go to birthday parties. That's usually how we would have fun. When
Wow.
the kids would go to and the teens and the young adults, they had birthday parties in the house parties.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I can have no babysitter. So she would bring me to these parties, set me on the couch. So I'm watching, I'm listening to the music, the funk, the just the soul, the R&B and the soul and the funk. And I'm absorbing it as I'm getting older, and then I'm watching cartoons.
Hmm.
It's a lot, James. So let
Yeah.
me stop there 'cause it's a lot.
Okay. Okay. So you're getting older. You're going to the house parties, watching cartoons. When do you start? And you're in LA. When do you start making a name for yourself? When midnight? Where does that come from? When do you?
That came from doing parades in 85. Okay, I gotta go back.
Okay.
In junior high school, okay, not even junior high school, elementary. So we're doing a recital. Every elementary school has a
Right.
recital.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure, Cinco de Mayo or some kind of holiday recital. So
Right.
we're dancing off Stevie Wonder, Superstition, and we're doing a routine, and I'm always doing a routine, doing it, doing it. But now I'm watching TV and
Mm.
now I'm seeing all this stuff. So I'm trying to imitate this stuff, the
Mm.
stuff that I'm seeing on TV and the stuff that I'm seeing on the streets.
Mhm.
The first uh, dancer group that I saw was Mechanical Device,
The Black Messengers.
Black Messengers,
Right.
Mechanical.
Okay.
Remember, I was watching the Gone Show all the time.
Right.
So all that time, and then my cousin, he was in the Navy. So when he would take leave from Navy, my mom would let me go with him. So he's out, he's coming. So he's taking me to the parks where they're having the park parties. He's taking me to these parties. And I'm watching the older kids. Now he knows I like to dance a lot. So he would put money on me to bet against other kids just regular dancing. I didn't know. I'm just trying to be a kid, just trying to blend in and do the regular stuff, you
Yeah.
know, this, that, and the other. So I had to speed it up to, then I went to the service, Fort Knox, Kentucky.
Mm.
But back before then, before I went to, as I went to Manual Arts High, that was considered Pop Lock High. That was 80. So
Mm.
everybody was dancing.
Mm.
Everybody was dancing. You had the pop lockers, you had lockers that were well, the locking scene was dying down, the disco scene was dying down. But
Mm.
then the popping was coming in, the funk. Boom.
Mm.
In your face. Females are doing it. Everybody was doing it. Every school, mascots, it was all that.
Wow. Okay.
I wasn't Minna, I was just Eddie. But then the neighborhood kids, they would call me Chocolate Pop.
Okay.
Been black kid in the neighborhood doing it. So to answer your question for the name, when it was a dance battle, a street battle on 24th and Western, and it was the kids, members only, that was a group. They was at Hoover Park. They
Mm.
came over to the other side of Vermont, where our side was at. And it was a big street battle. Two little kids came knocking on doors trying to find me. These are like 9, 10-year-old kids on bikes trying to find Chocolate Pop. They finally found me. My mom was telling me there's two little Mexican kids out here looking for you. She didn't know my name was Chocolate Pop.
Uh-huh.
She
Uh-huh.
just assumed, because I'm
Yeah.
dancing. I go with them after I just come back from work because I got a regular job. Take me down the street, James. It's about 900 people. They
Wow.
blocked off the street, 24th and Vermont. If you can Google it, you can see the small size of the street. And
Okay.
this goes circle. I'm like, wow, the fuck is all this? And I'm running. And the people, they see me from the neighborhood, they get hyped. Oh, there go Chocolate Pop. There go Chocolate Pop. Because they know it was about to be on.
Uh-huh.
We had the face off, left. I gotta explain this kind of, but I'm trying to speed it up to get to the name.
No
Um,
worries. Don't take it.
I got to when they left, they got in their trucks. Yeah, we turned y'all out, this, that, and the other. No, y'all didn't. No, y'all didn't. So I told all the guys, all the young guys, all us, because I was 19.
Mm.
Get together tomorrow. We'll meet here and we'll go to their park, which is Hoover Park.
Mm.
We'll do the same thing for them. So the next day after work, I get my vest, I get my white glove. A lot of people was trying to imitate the Michael Jackson because he imitated fashion,
Mm.
created fashion like to the fullest.
Right.
So we
Right.
went down there, and then after we battled the members only, their leader, he ran Hoover Park.
Mm.
He was saying, we want you guys to be in our group. Me, Aaron, Kevin Favors, Prince of Waves, and me and Kevin Favors, we was calling ourselves People's Republic of Pablo.
Mm.
But then I was kind of friends with the LA Breakers, the younger generation of LA Breakers.
Mm.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
I get in the parade. It was Cinco de Mayo parade.
Okay.
Ooh, we was in the back of a truck dancing and popping. And that's when we first went to Venice Beach as a group.
Mm.
But I was thinking about that parade, the people, shit. James, I want to get back in this. So when I went to go fill out the application, Cinco de Mayo parade, I couldn't use Chocolate Pop. I didn't have a name. But I remember I going to a party, because remember, I'm always dancing.
Right.
So we went to a party by USC, and there's a guy, he saw me, it was like 11:30, 12 o'clock. See, James, back in the days, parties would jump off 3:30, 4, 5 in the afternoon.
Mm.
That's when it was like cracking and crowded. Everybody's at their height.
Yeah.
Nowadays, when do parties start getting really live and activated?
Like
9
later. Right. Yeah.
Right. So when I went to that party, it was 11:30, 12 o'clock. People are tired. The girls are with the guys in the corners. Everybody's tired, but I'm still dancing. I'm still moving. Wow, still getting it in. And the guy was like, damn, you like a freaking midnight dancer. Aren't you tired? I said, no. So I thought about that.
Wow.
Let me put that in the application. Midnight dancer. Okay. So I used that. And that was a good name to use in the application. So I went to the Cinco de Mayo parade. Let me show you.
Yeah.
Wait. I still have the exact same thing. So I made that was my first parade. And here's the thing, 86, the next year.
Wow. Midnight Dance Certificate of
The Cinco de Mayo.
Wow.
That's 86. So that was the first time that name was on paper, somebody, and I got first place.
Wow.
The trophy, the people were like, and I got hooked. I'm like, because there was no dancers and no parades. There was no dance groups. It was no individuals. You just had drill teams and drum squads.
Wow.
And in the black community, or you had schools. But
Right.
individual dancers on foot dancing, it was none. I said, okay, because nobody was doing it, so I had to go in variety entry. So then Black History Parade, the Christmas parades, I used Midnight Dancer. And then I started adding Kevin. Remember Kevin Favorites, People's Republic of Pop Lock. Then later on, I teamed up with Popcorn. And then we started doing the parades. But that was it. And so when I started that name, Midnight Dancer, I just kept that name and people started remembering that's Midnight Dancer. And then we hit the skating rings. We hit Uncle Jam's Army at the sports arena. But let me stop there. But that's where that name started, and I established that name in 85.
Okay. Wow.
So people started asking me, who's that? That's Midnight. That's Midnight Dancer. And I would start wearing the shirt with my name on the back because everybody wanted to try to be known. Because it was so much competition. It was so much mindsets. People got to realize, James, LA was huge. Everybody was getting down, dancing. Everybody. It wasn't no certain group. So everybody wanted to establish themselves. Everybody wanted to be the best that they can be and try to turn people out. That was a reputation. So me and you go into a party, as soon as we walk in, oh, fuck, that's James at Midnight. They nervous because they know we about to put it down, but we're looking for action. First, you go to parties, of course, you're looking for girls. You try to get girls, but then when a certain music comes on, somebody steps up, be ready to send it back.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna stop there. But that's how the name started for me.
Midnight. Okay. And I see also behind you, you have a photo of Midnight, of the character you've created behind you.
Oh,
right there.
that. David Cavello painted that for me when I did the 10th anniversary, the Poppers Picnic.
Okay.
So he painted that to me as a birthday present.
Wow. What inspired the design of Midnight, of the character?
Okay, because that character, after we did the first Poppers Picnic, after events, a lot of people they want to go to the clubs and the after events, the after parties. James, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to take it back to the streets. And then for that year prior, I was talking with Anthony Moorfield, Golden Robot.
Okay.
Now he's an icon on Hollywood. It was also Goldmine and Automatic. They would do shows that in Santa Monica Pier. Same with animation. Animation had Venice Beach. He held down Venice Beach.
Okay.
Flat Top held Universal City Walk. And sometimes Automatic and Goldmine, they either separate or they're together. They either hit Hollywood Boulevard or they're Santa Monica Pier. But Anthony Moorfield, he either hit Santa Monica Pier, but Hollywood, that was him.
Wow.
So when I was talking to him over the months, the past years, he was talking about how everything was extra crowded. Everybody was encroaching. The breakdancers had their spot, magicians, food cars. What about the poppers, the robots? Just nothing for us. So I told Anthony, fuck it. After the picnic, we gonna come down to where you're at on Hollywood. We're gonna shut it all down. You can go look on Google, OG Hollywood Poppin', and you can see that video.
Here, I'm gonna see if I could.
We was at the bus stop. He was posted at the bus stop, and we came and met him. We was out there till like 3 a.m. with the speaker box packed, going. So I said, wait a minute. The people now they're seeing the real They're not seeing the stuff that's on TV. They're seeing the real stuff.
Hmm.
Keep this going. So I want to start doing street shows. Everybody, a lot of people's doing the box, the mannequin, the mime popping on the box. Uh-oh.
Is this the
Oh, no.
I know
Um, was it OG Hollywood popping? It'll
OG
be
Hollywood.
part one and part two. Um, and people never saw an older white gentleman, and that's OG Mike. They never saw a lady, AK. That we had our gloves, we had our stuff. No, no. It was on Hollywood Boulevard. I had to. No, that's Popper's Picnic because it was me and Tickle Out. We started doing actual pop-in street shows.
Yeah. Okay. Let me do one more.
Okay.
'Cause I know I've seen it. It's at night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it. A
It's
lot
two
of
parts.
right.
And with the guys from the Bay Area came Alex. He tapes a lot of it and caught it on tape. Um, OG Hollywood. No, it wouldn't say that. It's a certain title.
Like,
But it's so old. It came down, we viraled, came back.
is it? Okay.
No, that's
I'll have
that's
to.
that.
I'll have to find
We'll
it.
come back.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll come back. But
Okay.
then me and Tickle Out, we started doing street shows. So I was just in a karate suit, me and him doing chain racks and doubles.
Mhm.
But then we're on Hollywood. So you see the characters. You see the Supermans, Iron Mans, the Hulks, the Pirates of Penzance, all the characters.
Right.
But I look in the stores and I see the mannequins posted up in different stores. So James, what if that mannequin came alive with a human heart, started dancing and popping? But a mannequin's made out of metal and wood, so it's going to be heavy. So it's not going to be as fast and as fluid as a human would. But now it had that it tried to have the human mentality. So like when I'm doing street shows, the music is a little bit faster and popping, boom, pow, boom, but it's all in sync.
Right.
But it's mannequin. So I wanted to see, that'd be cool. The mannequin came off the box and started popping.
Yeah.
Became human, started interacting with the women as a guy would, interacting, playing with the kids. Remember that movie, The Mask?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, that same arrogant attitude, but in a fun way.
Playfulness. Yeah.
So I saw my main performance partner, Everett, Bo Woods. He had an Iron Man suit. He made it because back then those suits and outfits, that was like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. He wasn't paying $5,000 for them, so you have to get it online.
Right.
He made this suit at his house in his room. So he's walking down the street, and I'm looking. Oh fuck, that's Iron Man. But now wait, that's a black dude in that suit. I'm just being honest, because he had that certain walk.
Right.
Later, he told me his feet was hurt. But I pulled him over and I was talking with him, and I said to myself, okay, me and him, we need to team up, because I already had ideas for the community, the popping community. Because James, anybody can dance, robot, pop, whatever, but can you entertain?
Right.
And that's a lot of dancers they can't do. So I got with him and I told him what I wanted. Since he's making costumes, he made my face. I wanted something that can contour so it can look like a mannequin in the face. So you could tell. And I just put everything together from a hood perspective. So I was thinking about the mechanical device. I was thinking about Mad Monster Party. That's an animated movie.
Mad Monster Party.
Yes.
I've never. That's great.
See, that's the thing. I try to show people that when they try to do one-on-ones and I show them, they're like, oh shoot. But the skeletons, the bones, and Phyllis Diller, they all have voices, but everything was all in claymation of all the monsters.
This is interesting because I know people talk about claymation, and so this film is
Punch Up Mad Monster Party. See?
right here. Oh, okay.
Those are snippets, but you have to watch the whole thing, and that's all.
The trailer.
Claymated.
Let me see real quick, just a trailer. Okay.
So when I was a kid, that's what I was looking at. Besides watching cartoons of Gigantor, watching Land of the Lost with the Sleestaks, that walk with the Sleestaks, And then I'm
Mad
watching.
Monster Party,
Monster Party.
starring Boris Karloff, and in order of their appearance,
Those are all the voices.
Frankenstein,
The werewolf.
the Hunchback,
The mummy.
Dr. Jekyll,
Mr. Hyde.
And in order of his disappearance, the invisible man.
also starring Phyllis Diller as the hostess with the least.
He was an actor, comedian.
Mad Monster Party.
Bones.
They're playing your song, honey. Let's dance.
The Mummy Dance. See, but James, nobody want to talk about this because nobody was knowing.
Okay.
When I try to explain to him, it's like, oh shoot, really? Yeah, because a lot of cats they do. That's let me hush.
He's gonna.
No, because you can't tell all the information. So when you do, you go into details. You tell one person all this information, they'll go way over here
Right.
and broadcast that same information. But the people that they're telling it to, they think he's the original source. He takes all the credit. When you can simply like, look, I learned from such and such, or I was told this by this person. Just like when you go to colleges, you
Yeah.
look at the books,
Right.
everything has that person's credit.
Right. The reference up. Yep. Everything.
Yeah.
Right.
That's how simple. But my Monster Party, the cartoons, Gigantor, Land of the Lost with the Slee Stacks, the
Yeah.
wall, Creature from the Black Lagoon, and when a guy was coming under the water, and I've seen some guys imitate those things too at these earlier parties.
Okay.
I didn't really understand it because I'm a kid, but I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Right.
But that's just a little bit of it.
So now, when at this time, around this time, which I think you were saying like mid '80s, around this time of when.
Oh, with the mannequin,
Yeah.
the mannequin character. Oh,
Yeah.
right after the picnic, right after the first picnic, and I saw Everett,
Uh-huh.
and I had to put my face together, so I had to put the shirt and put everything together that I had in mind. So I started doing street shows in Hollywood because it wasn't no popping acts. It wasn't no robot popping acts.
Well-
It wasn't a lot. It was a few, but it wasn't a lot. The Bay Area had a lot over in the Wharf, Fisherman's Wharf,
Okay.
LA, and again, animation had he had that on lock, Venice Beach, the certain spot.
Mr. Animation.
When you go to Venice Beach, every pop or whatever, you had to go visit animation and watch him do his shows in front of the tourists and the tourist responses.
Okay.
They would trip. We know what he was gonna do because
Right.
that was the homie, but it's just the tourist. But he was representing the culture.
Okay. So during this time, were there already a lot of robot movers established, like robot dancers established already, and animators? So like were there? I guess yeah. During this time, during the first Poppers Picnic, and now you're putting the ideas together. Were there other already established roboters?
Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah, but a lot of them had retired. They stopped because the popping era died down.
It
So
died.
now you got to the trendy dances. Then you got to the house dances. Then you got to the hip hop.
Oh,
So
okay.
a lot of them, they retired, they stopped, like got fans, but a lot of them they still do come to the picnics. You
Okay.
see like these older dudes, and you don't think nothing of them, but it's like,
Mhm.
oh no, that's Dr. Business.
Mm,
Oh, that's Lady Mason. Well, that's
wow.
such and such, because I've known them from back in the days when I was going to LA,
Wow.
back in Manual and back in those early 70s. So I used to try to hit those festivals. I would try to hit the malls,
Mhm.
the skating rings, Uncle Jam's Army. That was the biggest, the biggest stage for dance.
Okay.
And like you can put 5 Poppers Picnics, 5 B-Boy Summits. What's
Wow.
that event that they do up in France? I've never been out there, but I
Yeah,
saw the video.
Yeah.
All that, it'll never compare to Uncle Jam's Army dance.
Wow.
10,000 people at the sports arena on the floor. Not just sitting down, I'm talking about on the floor. And
Uh-huh.
they'll take the seats out to expand that floor.
Wow,
But
man.
see, James, nobody want to talk about that because they wasn't there.
Okay.
They
Now,
wasn't there.
what about Okay. I want to
I know you want to get into the animation.
I wanna talk. I wanna get into it. I'm just seeing how to really.
I'm not really an animation expert.
Yeah,
I focus more on the robotics.
the robotics.
It's just people try to make it much more complicated than what it is, Jay.
Okay, here's my question. Here's my question. When did you hear about animation being used and talked about within the dance?
When Deuce, just being honest, as far as being talked about and starting to be publicized, when Deuce wanted to come back into the mix, Gizmo, when he did the picnic, and go look at prior people's doing workshops,
Mm-hmm.
2000, 2001, everybody was focused on popping, boogaloo, some waving, tutting. That's cool.
Okay.
But in your case, you want to know about that animated perspective.
Yeah.
Nobody wasn't really talking and focusing on animation pretty much. When Gizmo did that showcase at Popper's Picnic 5 or 6,
Mm-hmm.
or it was, I believe, 5 or 6.
Okay.
Go look at the video.
Yeah,
He cleared the floor. And then afterwards, everybody like, okay, now what is this?
Let me see.
Scorpion was standing right there. Everybody was standing right there.
Showcase
Looking.
Popper's Picnic. So it's a showcase by Gizmo. Let me see.
Well, I have the floor.
Okay.
The floor, and people are just going out. And he just happened to step out.
Is this 2012? No. How?
I'm not sure. And this is just my personal take. I can't speak for nobody else, and probably some people might have different opinions. But I'm just telling you from my perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Then later on, nope, it wasn't them. It wasn't that. This one was at Griffith. But it was before them. It was before them.
2013.
See, it's a lot of videos of it, Jay.
Also, on a side note, I gotta say the Popper's Picnic is what is probably the most incredible event of bringing poppers from all over. Even before I came to LA, before I was watching videos of the picnic, and I was like, wow, this is like the motherland where everyone is at. And that's when I came to LA, I had to go to it. So I did attend one of the picnics. So just for
Thank
people.
you. Yeah. And and when you did, and you started doing your stuff, I don't know if you noticed, it was so quiet because everybody was looking. They're like, "What the fuck is he doing? What is this?" You might not can understand what he's doing, but now you are being entertained because you are watching.
Yeah.
You're not walking away. You're doing stuff.
Huh.
I'll find a video.
Okay.
Exactly the scene and show it to you.
Got
So he started doing Creep-O-Matic.
Okay.
He was doing stuff. Now I don't know. Maybe somebody else was speaking animation beforehand. I don't know. But as far as from me, that's when people started really speaking on it in depth, really, and they started adding it into their workshops later on. In the contrast, Dre was doing his bopping, his robots. I was doing my robots and popping. But a lot of the other people, they were doing waving, the popping, boogaloo, tutting, which was cool,
Right.
which was cool. I was trying to get into the stuff too, but that's when everybody was trying to get into the mix.
Okay.
And you're asking about the animation part. That's when, and afterwards, then later on, people started adding that into their workshops and scenarios.
Right.
Like, really?
Right
You
now,
weren't thinking about that before. They wasn't doing it before, so it's cool.
there's Colin is writing a question. He says Deuce, Gizmo, and Andre. He says, was Deuce their teacher or was he Andre's student? Do you know anything about?
Don't let me know. They were brothers, half brothers. Let Andre tell you. He gonna tell you. You have to ask him more on that. But no, he wasn't. Deuce was his own man. I first met him at a parade, 86 Black History Parade.
Okay.
I remember I'm popping in the parades. So I'm going on the streets, popping, vibrating, hitting. Wasn't doing roboting because it was slower. Robot, you got to take your time, do it. Popping, and movement. So for Western in 70 something, it was a couple of dudes, they came out I rode by got on them quickly, and they said, "Oh no, let me go get my G." And it was Deuce. He came down. I said, "Oh shit!" And I already heard about him. Now he was gang banging. A
Okay.
lot of entertainers, gang members,
Mm,
real talented dudes was gang members. But
mm,
Jay, you wouldn't know about them because a lot of them was so set in their ways in their communities, doing
mm,
what they're doing. But you go to a party like a hood party, put
mm,
on certain music. Oh, you're gonna get a show.
mm.
You're gonna get a show.
Wow.
But with when I had saw Deuce, I'm like, oh shit, me and him about to go at it. But the parade, you got to keep going. You can't stay stagnant for so long.
Hmm.
So, and then Gizmo brought him back to my attention. He got a hold of him, and then me and Giz had talked. No, me and them, Deuce had talked because he remembers. He remembers him because remember he was in the Olympics, the '84 Olympics.
Okay. I didn't.
When they had it in LA.
Okay. Deuce was in it.
Yeah, and he was also breaking and entering.
Oh, you're right. Dang, I gotta go back now and find footage.
So
Okay.
that's a lot of things. Um, the cultures to be is not to be told or sold. You
Hmm.
got to be around it to know it. You got to be around the people to really get the full knowledge, if
Right,
that makes
right.
sense. I'm only gonna
Okay.
say something, but as far as that question, as
Deuce, Deuce
Dre,
and his
Baby
Dre.
Chris,
Okay. Okay.
Deuce had passed away, but now when he wanted to do the picnics with me, oh no, he was fully in.
Mm,
He had gained a lot of weight, his mentality is here, but he always had the love for dance. A lot of
mm.
we had love for dance. So when we did Picnic 5, he spent part of his rent money for the food. I spent some of my money. Yeah, we fed over 300 people
Wow, yeah.
at the picnic, trying to get the people that didn't have money, out of towners that didn't were able to bring lunches and stuff.
Right.
Oh, come on. No, we got you. That's the whole point. It's trying to bring community together, and he was with that. And then he created Time Zone,
Okay.
trying to
Right,
bring
right.
structure, trying to bring, certain ones together to stabilize the culture and make it grow, make it
Interesting.
expand.
Hmm. That's a I want to come back to that
Yeah,
question.
I'm gonna stop there.
Topic growing. There's because
It's a lot of subjects,
yeah,
but
no, and it's this is needs to be heard. It needs to be
some
shared.
people probably gonna be mad at me, but oh well, I'm just
Yeah, you're saying your truth.
that's the reason why I do the picnics, so
Hmm.
that everybody can be included.
Right.
But then they can see the authentic culture. It's not just one side. It's not just one part.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. So I can bring the veterans, the pioneers, and the veterans. Well, a lot of them I know because I grew up, went to LA with the new generation.
Mm,
Close the gap so
mm,
they can see how stuff was. Now, yes, it's 2025, so you don't hear the funk and electro on the radios no more like we used to. You
mm-hmm.
hear the stuff that you hear now. But if you apply your foundations, keep your foundations core and authentic, you know, um, and then you can create some other stuff, because the music of today, I wouldn't recommend. I mean, people can, but some of we look like, no, and some people think we're hating. No, it's just for me personally, I've seen so much.
Right.
So a lot of stuff that people do now, I've seen before. A lot
Mm,
of cats that LA people do, some of the Bay cats seen before.
mm.
But that's not like when you was at the picnic, the 10th one, stuff you did, ain't nobody seen that shit. Had the potential. Just like Marcus. I was telling Marcus and I was telling Tyrone, when they're doing shows in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
I gave them some on the spot pointers right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, just try it and watch. And when they did, oh shit, that opened their eyes.
Mm,
So
mm.
I didn't want the pat on the back. I just want you to be the best that you can be.
Right. Right.
What
And
you
that's always I've always sensed that from you of the very giving and wanting to just you create the picnic, you're teaching lessons and helping everyone out. A very giving, very supporting. That's like what I feel from you.
When I was little younger, we didn't, the only lessons was just watching,
Mm,
looking, watching,
mhm.
and taking notes. And in that mirror is your best friend. My best friend was the radio.
The
My,
radio.
my dad gave me that radio. So it was the
Mhm.
cassette radio, single cassette. So I'm trying to, a lot of dancers, you have to try to transform the sound into physical form. Do what the music tells you to do. Some beats is going to be faster, so
Right.
some moves are going to be broken down. Some
Mm.
moves are going to be slower, so some moves, bam, are going to be slower in
Mm.
depth. You translate the music. So you're seeing something, you're hearing a certain jam, and you're seeing somebody dance to it. You want it to match,
Hmm.
like peanut butter and jelly.
Yes. Yes. If that
You know,
exactly.
so you want it to match.
Yes. Man, a question Colin just brought up as well is what did the term boogaloo mean when you first got into dance?
What did the term mean?
What did
Just
boogaloo mean?
as a dance, as part of, because out here, LA, we were calling dance, either you was pop lock dancing, popping, or some people saying boogaloo, but the majority of LA culture stuff was pop lock. That was the term.
Wow. Okay.
That was the term. Out
Mm.
in the Bay Area, it was boogaloo. So I'm hearing
Mm.
boogaloo. I'm thinking, I'm thinking in terms of funky dance, popping per se, boogaloo. But I knew it was going to be a little bit different.
Mm.
I mean, being a kid, but me being older, my 20s and 30s, I know it was from a certain region. When you go to Oakland and me and you start dancing, more likely a senior citizen gonna call it boogaloo if they
Boogaloo.
grew up in Oakland. But
Oh,
now we come to LA like Taste of Soul, and some boogaloo cats will come down to LA and start doing their dances,
but
boogaloo and
popping.
popping.
Right.
The senior citizens that grew up in LA, they're gonna like, oh, look at the pop lockers.
Interesting, right? The
You know?
word, right? Do you it what is the relationship between Oakland and LA? What
Oh, it's like cousins.
they're like cousins.
I
Okay.
went when my me and my mom went to Frisco. Let me see. And the only thing I can remember was those hills and that wind, that
Mm.
cold wind. That wind was cold. But no, me and Chuck, Vic, we have conversations all the time. We talk how people will migrate LA to Oakland, LA to Frisco, Frisco to Compton,
Mm.
Watts to San Jose, San Diego to Sacramento. Everything was going back and forth, back and forth, back
Mm.
and forth.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was all Cali. You know, you
Wow.
had the North, and they represent the North, and then you had the South, but it still all was Cali.
Mm.
That's just me. That's how you know.
Right.
So
Wow.
it's all like family. It's just they like hot links.
Eh,
We like pastrami.
okay.
You know, what did Chuck say? Taco links.
Taco leg. Okay.
But now when we talk, I learned a lot of Oakland history from Boogaloo Vic, and especially from Chuck Powell and
Okay.
Kearney. But
Hmm.
then I tell them LA stuff, LA culture too. Because a
Mm.
lot of people didn't think it was a term, pop lock. They didn't think there was no such thing. I'm like, when you ask them, have you ever grew up in LA? A lot of times they're gonna say no.
Right.
Bingo. There it is.
How did pop locking come about? What's the origin, or at least to your knowledge of when that term came out and what it represented?
Mm. We had I'm not gonna go too much in details, but we had a meeting in Bandit's house. It was like 8 of us,
Mm.
and everybody put their egos aside, and we put timelines together. And from what that term started in Compton,
Interesting. Okay.
LA, Watts, it's right there, and you have South Central LA. That was the Mecca of
Mm.
South Central LA, because you have South LA, but then you also have East LA.
Mm.
See, it's a whole different perspective. You got Southwest LA, right? And
Mm.
then over down this way, Venice, Culver City,
Right.
Hollywood is over here, the Valley is over here,
Mm.
but the majority of stuff, LA, Watts, and Compton.
Mm.
It's
Okay.
a lot. It's a lot, but people got to actually come over here. Okay, it was a time when Asia won. She did the Funk and Soul Summit in
Mm.
Leimert Park, which is right down the street from my house.
Hmm.
Jay, we had a ball.
Hmm.
Had a ball. I did a workshop, like a workshop tutorial out in the open field. Oh shoot. I can't the names off the tip of my head. This lady, she did a hip hop class, and that's when we had our summit.
Hmm.
So Skeeter Rabbit was there at the summit. I was at the summit. Um, the tip of my tongue. Okay. I'm losing my mind now.
No worries, no
But
worries.
we had a summit and we laid down the timelines from the dance.
What was the timelines that you shared?
Well, Skeet and Demita Jones, they got the timeline with the locking
Okay.
as far as LA.
Locking comes from LA.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So the party dancers, and that's Skeet. You have to ask Skeet. When Demita Jones came, and then me and Sir Pablock, we was there for this. Gizmo was there. Asia was right there, and it was like a group of about 9, 10 people because it was a small little studio. Because the action was outside. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we only had like about 20, 30 minutes. And then Tierra Strike, she did the hip hop, put her on the panel. And then we had the youngster that got the crumping started.
Okay.
PB was there because the house and the raves, that started kicking into gear. But then so with the disco era, so I'm trying to start explaining the part with the disco and the popping started coming in, the popping to the trendy dance coming in, the rave and stuff, and then the hip hop stuff was coming in. You know, I didn't first see breakdance until I saw Snake and Dave at Manual in '84. Because I saw him, we was on campus, but it was off the school hours. And me and Dr. Business and Count Popula, we was just walking, and there goes Snake and Dave. And we was already gonna mess around. And then he started doing some floor rock. I'm like, oh, that's that hip hop and the breakdance stuff.
Yes.
And then you remember when I graduated from Manual in '83, and then I went to Fort Knox, Kentucky. And over there, it was racist to the fullest. On the walls, on the bus going there, because I was doing the Army Reserve. So it was only for 6 months. So I left in August, came back in December. But on the way there, it had on the wall, kill all niggers. Fuck, excuse my language. I'm just chilling.
No, it's true. It's
fuck niggas. So when it was time to get off the base, I wasn't getting off that base. Maybe go to the PX, but I wasn't getting off the base. So on the weekends, it'd be the radio. The only video station that was playing videos was VH1. Right? Boom. Michael Jackson. He came with Thriller.
Yeah.
That Thriller video changed everything. They were playing it 24 hours, 26 hours a day, nonstop. Wow. Boom, boom. Now we're in Fort Knox, Kentucky. So, and my sergeant, one of my sergeants, he caught me in the mirror on a Sunday. It was like off day. So I'm in the mirror, just messing around because I'm thinking about back home in LA. Right. He calls me. I'm thinking I'm going to get a Section 8, Article 15, because I'm desecrating a uniform or out of character. Right. He took me to his dorm. He pulled out Green Records. He pulled out BT Express. Wow. He pulled out, because he's like, you're from LA, huh? Said, yes, Sergeant. He's like, oh, so you guys do that pop lock stuff.
Interesting.
He's from Arkansas.
So you knew about it.
What you know about this?
Right.
He pulled out the albums. He pulled out the Parliament albums. He pulled out KC and the Sunshine Band. So it regulated. It went further out. But that's another topic.
Wow.
It's so much. Right? But the boogaloo.
That word.
When I heard that, I knew it was funky. But I didn't really think too much what it is exactly.
Right.
I knew it had something similar to do for what I was doing, the pop and stuff. You know.
Okay. And you, when you were sharing about the timeline of the dance in LA, the beginning.
From my perspective, from what I saw,
from your perspective, it was during the disco era funk. It was locking and roboting,
and party dancing.
And then
in LA,
locking,
roboting, party dance. This is what I'm seeing as a kid. Locking, roboting. That was it. I don't know what the Hispanics was doing. Oh, and disco and the disco dancing. You know, a lot of people mixing the locking with the disco music, because that disco music was going on too. Ring My Bells,
Yeah.
Gloria Gaynor, Casey and the Sunshine Band,
Mhm.
Brick, Cameo had earlier stuff, but then I was into Parliament.
Mm.
Remember, I like to draw. So the
Mhm.
Parliament had albums with the pop-up pictures, and
Okay.
they had the book. Sir Nose was the enemy, and Star Child was the good guy.
Mm.
So it was always a conflict of interest. So every album, it continued the
Oh,
story.
that's
It
cool. That's
continued the
okay.
story.
That's dope. That's really cool. You were
The
looking
Bop Group.
forward, right, to the
Yeah,
next.
it continued the story. So with that continued the story, the music. Remember, the music was dictating the dances, the
Hmm.
music.
Hmm.
So Jay, coming, I was trying to explain to them hard rock, disco, you had the funk, um, you had the R&B, you had early gospel,
Mm.
um, and when I go into rock, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath,
Mm.
B-52s, that part. When you're disco and with Dance Fever with Danny Terrio, everybody was watching that.
Wow.
Um, Soul Train on Saturdays before you went anywhere, everybody was watching that. And
Everybody
then
was
a lot of people
watching.
was watching Soul Train, flipping channels doing a commercial because American Bandstand was on.
Mm.
So
Okay.
we're watching this. Someone said, okay, this is what the black kids, what we're looking at.
Mm.
Let's see, what were the white kids listening to? You go over here,
Interesting.
bam, and you see how they dance. You
Right.
see the white boy swim, all
Interesting.
that was a party dancer. So a lot of the black kids, they would use those dances too. And then you had the UK, new wave. All that was kicking in, but nobody want to talk about that part. See?
Interesting. What tell the UK, when was this? What was happening?
Go to oh, here we go. I got stuff on here. Let me think real quick. You had Yazoo, move out, don't mess around, move out. You had
Yeah.
oh James, you gotta listen to the K-Rock. They'll play certain songs
Okay.
or um shoot. It was a lot. It was a lot.
Mm.
And a lot of their music influenced um Culture Club, even though they were like American, but British. Okay, you had the Britain sound.
Hmm.
The
Okay.
Brits was coming in. Um, Blinding Me with Science. That Thomas Dolby. Dun, 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 dun. Oh,
Mhm.
that was Poppers was getting that in, but also
Mm.
Mod Squads was getting in. Remember I was telling you about the trendy?
Right.
You had Michael Jackson, you had Rick James, you had Parliament, you had Zapp, and you
Mm.
had Prince.
Okay.
Prince followers, they had the trench coats, they had the buttons, and when you go on to parties, you're looking for girls, Buffalo gals. That's why I said, go Buffalo girls, go around the outside, around. This is the
Yeah.
dude with the trench coats, and they're doing the skip and the trench coats with the hats, or the
Interesting.
Levi's, flooded Levi's with the penny loafers, with
Okay.
the Argyle socks, and the Lacoste.
Hmm.
It's a lot.
Wow, the styles. No, that's great how you're naming the clothes styles so we can look back as well and see how it, put together.
Hoppers and Boogaloos had their stuff in their area, but the trendy dancers, and they were dancing off the electro, but they was doing the dances.
Hmm.
RoboCop, the George Jefferson, the Guess,
Mm.
and these are names off
Hmm.
of people or certain items, and
Mm.
they would turn them into dances. Um, you know how the Blues Brothers had their ties and stuff.
Right.
Go
Right.
back to the new wave
I see.
era.
Okay. Okay.
So
Wow.
I'm remember my radio is my best friend. So
Right.
I'm listening to all this different stuff and it's playing. So now the parties and stuff was being played Uncle Jam's Arm. This is before people started making money as DJs. Because
Mm.
now DJs was the thing to start making money. So
Mm.
the Tinos had their party down the street and
Right.
they're playing high energy disco.
Right.
Music is faster. Um, you had let me stop.
No,
Because
all
I
of
learned
it.
so much.
No, so much, but it's wonderful. All of it is wonderful. A question I want to ask is, well, I know you mentioned about drawing, that you've been drawing since a young age, correct?
Because of my mom.
And I
My mom got
see,
me into music and got me into drawing.
and I see you have some drawings behind you. Those
Oh,
drawings you created, or tell me a little
yes.
bit about them.
No,
Yeah.
those are ink pen drawings. This one right here is a pencil drawing. Right, right there. That's a pencil drawing. I got the dates on there. Okay. I'll show you this one. I kept this one. This I did in 83. This one right here.
Wow.
So it was raining.
Wow.
This is on my birthday on 7/13/82. This is when I
Wow.
turned 17. It was raining that day. So I got bored. So I saw this picture in a magazine. So I drew it. So with the fashion styles and the blacks, everybody had curls, Jerry curls. So
Yeah.
I made him have lighter eyes, and I made her hair a little bit shorter.
Wow.
So after I drew that picture, by me going to junior high school and high school, the majority of my major in classes was art classes.
Okay.
It was easier for me to be able to graduate,
Yeah.
because I draw. So I entered that in a contest. Arco, the gas station,
Uh-huh.
they had an Arco in the LA school district. They
Okay.
had a big art competition with all the schools, LA and South Bay. So that made first place in
Wow.
drawing for the whole schools.
Man.
But I was always drawing portraits. So, and when I was drawing this one over here, but now during the pandemic, we couldn't go anywhere.
Right.
So I was trying to draw this picture for this lady,
Mhm.
but now my pencils broke.
Oh no.
No more pencils. But wait, I'm an artist. Just like with dance,
Yes.
you don't make mistakes. You create on the spot
Mm-hmm.
with the drawing. I had pens. Only thing left, I had pens. So I said, you know what? Let me finish this with a pen. So I finished this with a pen. Then I went and did another one, and another one, and another one. So all those are ink pen drawings, just straight. So I'll get the picture and redraw it.
Wow. Man, Midnight. I think it's so. I just really respect how you are able to share in multiple dimensions. You know, you're able to share your mind and your experience through dance, through fashion, through drawing, through even event hosting. Like it's like there's people, and nothing against anyone if they focus on one thing, or but I think it's just a lot of respect, and it's really cool to see someone that can share in multiple
Oh,
forms. So I
yeah.
want to just share that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
No, I'm just trying to give people, trying to do stuff that I haven't seen done. Like when I started doing the Food for Funk, food drives. Back then, Jerry Lewis, he had the Jerry Lewis telethon.
Mm.
And it was 24 hours straight, no commercials, no nothing. It was people was on the phones, and it was every act, every minute. It was an act,
Mm.
act, 24 hours straight. Because they
Wow.
was doing it for muscular dystrophy.
Hmm.
So I was thinking, wait a minute, let me do that with the dancers. Get
Hmm.
all the dancers together. So I try to find somebody that can donate the space. And if I can give people 8 hours of free space, music, and put up money in my pocket for dance contests, they can give me like four, that's why I call it Food for Fun, 4 canned goods and 2 new toys.
Hmm.
Put that all together. You've seen the flyers from the last 2.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a third one in December.
Okay.
And then I'll give that a donation of gifted things to a community church or an organization that can give it to the people immediately, not just sitting in a warehouse somewhere.
Right.
So it takes a lot to do that. And then with the memorial, the Wall of Legends, the ones that passed on.
Yes.
The military has Wall of Legends.
Right.
And the sports people have Wall of Legends.
Right.
Music, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. What about the dancers?
Right.
The ones that pass by, that way their names are not forgotten.
Yeah.
If I didn't put that up there, nobody would know about 3D Bob. Nobody would know about all these other names, they wouldn't have known about it. So that way it'll stay floating, in everybody's social medias and stuff like that. And that's another reason why I wanted to do the picnics. Because it was started to be a thought for my birthday. So my birthday. But then as it got more and more, Jay, the Grammys, all the musicians get together once a year for the Grammys.
Right.
race car drivers, they get together for the Indy 500.
Right. Right.
Baseball, all baseball lovers, they get together for World Series,
Right.
right? The Oscars, all the actors
All the
get together for the
actors.
Oscars.
Right.
What about the dancers?
Right.
There was nothing out there. There was nothing. I'm sorry, there was nothing out there. So when I was standing at a bus stop, waiting to go home from work, and my birthday was gonna come up, I wanted to see, what can I do for my birthday? Something different. Because LA was having festivals, but it was
Okay.
nothing. I'm like, let me do something in the park. And then it just grow and grow. Let me get a whole bunch of poppers in the park. My friends, they used to dance.
Right.
Let's do a poppers picnic. Everybody else had their picnics, but there was nothing for dancing. It wasn't no whackers picnic. It wasn't no picnic, no B-boy picnic, no lockers. It was not lockers had lockers legends. The breakers had B-boy summit. What was there for the poppers? There was mainstream historical.
There was nothing there.
And that's now I'm getting all the hate. But that was some old person told me when you're doing good things, the hate's gonna come.
Oh yeah, of course. Of course, you're making waves, you're making movements. People are catching on. Of course, some people they're not gonna agree. People, yeah, it's I think it's like anyone that once they reach a platform and people's eyes are on them, people just they disagree, they feel ways about it. But yourself, and I'll say what you've done has impacted people all over the world. I mean, Midnight, how many people from the Netherlands, Tavata, Ebony, everyone coming through, hearing about you, wanting to learn from you, so
I'm just a regular dude.
Exactly. You just doing your thing, giving, and people see that.
I'm just trying to help. I'm just trying to help the culture. That's all.
Exactly.
And help the community at the same time. That's all, man.
Exactly.
So when I got with the Poppers Ball, and that became viral like twice over, like 100 million views. But it was from a cell phone camera from Nader and Pop Lock and G's 2 dates. And one date that Nader brought was from Africa. Got on our African site. And then that video got on one on Bandit's side, Bandit Rest in Peace. And that's when it blew up from what I saw, 300 to 80 something million.
Wow. Yeah. Just traveling everywhere.
Trying to help.
No, I hear you. Colin has a question he's sharing. What's
up, Colin?
Colin says, where did Robot as a Dance come from, and what are its foundations? That's the first question. I'll ask the next one after that. But I guess, where did Robot as a Dance, when did you start seeing people doing a robot as a dance, and what are the foundations of that?
When I saw it, on TV, it was Demeter Jones, and there was another guy on the side. I never figured out his name. In person, it was at a party. We was in Watts, and he wasn't doing, the robot slide, he, I don't want to give out too much info, but I will say this. He was at a party and the song was, Bop Gun.
Okay.
He was, no. One Nation Under a Groove.
Okay.
So he was in a party. We was in Watts. Remember, I told my mom was taking me to these parties from the babysitter, and he was doing this. He was just doing this. This basis. Now it's probably gonna be mad people, but I'm just telling what I saw. I didn't know what it was, but it was different. It wasn't just the normal stuff. And he was moving his head to the side. He was sliding, and he turned around. And then he did something that made me think a $6 million man.
That show.
Yeah,
right.
There was a show with slow motion.
Yes.
Moonwalk.
Yes.
And it's dun, 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 dun. We're watching this, and I'm seeing that in person. I don't know the guy's name. That's when I first saw that. So, and then I'm watching cartoons. You remember that the drawing that I did, the booklet, and I released that, showed that, and I started showing the framework.
Yes, the pictures of all the poses,
the body pictures, and nobody's like, "Hey, man, what the fuck is this?" Nobody never saw them like this. So I said, "Let me share a little bit of that," because I was teaching classes, but I want to leave homework assignments. not
Mhm.
just one day for hour, take your money and then bounce. No, I wanted some last, come back next week. So here's a homework assignment. And I tried to break it down to a science so
Mm,
he could understand.
mm,
So I
okay.
showed a few veterans, a few G's. They were like, "Oh man, this shit is tight. This is
Mm,
good," you know. So I got credit for that. But
okay. Eh,
robot.
yeah, or even like
It's
who are the people? Maybe even like who were the people that were pushing robot? Like
nobody
the,
was really pushing it. Cass was just doing it.
they're just doing it.
Um, and
Mm,
it again, it depended on the music. The music would tell you. Um,
mm,
Funky Town. When you think of that, oh, robot.
right.
Um, Kraftwerk. You're gonna think robotic. Remember when we was talking about translating the music into physical form.
Yeah.
So a lot of people like, that's too robotic or too mechanical. But there's always that one person in the back, dum 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 dum.
Right.
You know.
Right. Okay. So
But
that's
it was simple. It was simple, but it was effective. Nowadays, everybody wants to make it so complex, so difficult. Oh,
interesting. Oh, yes, because it's definitely actually, what are your thoughts of how
I understand
robot?
this.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on?
I understand it's 2025. I understand people want to
Yeah.
grow and stuff, but that's just my opinion. You put more into it and what it should be. Just
Mm,
keep it simple but effective. Sometimes simple is better than complex movement, you know. And I always tell people all the time, um, and I've been quoted, but I hear the people say it, you know, but I've already said this since 2005 and 6. Don't be the dancer trying to be the robot. Be the robot trying to imitate a human.
mm, right.
And
That's
that's
a
the
flip.
key.
That's a flip way of thinking of it.
That's the key.
Right.
You
Right.
know, you got the animatronic robot, you got the cyborg robot, you got the humanoid robot, you got the mannequin robot, you know. You got to try to image just like when I'm doing my stuff, my street show stuff, it's the mannequin trying to imitate the human.
Mm,
So they see the wire, they see the wires come out of my shoe. Because
yeah,
you know, the robots, you need power.
right.
So you got to see machines always plugged in. So I want them to see that. And that's some people really don't think I'm real. And
Mm,
when I'm doing robotic stuff, they're like, okay, they don't, and they want to come take pictures. Like that robot is so cool, so cool. But
yeah.
when I come on and start popping and busting, oh, that's when it freaks them out.
Interesting. Right.
That's it.
Like, whoa, it turns on now.
Like you, and I told you to your face at the picnic, be you. See, with you were doing something that I was trying to explain to people as far as the python, the anaconda. And one
Mm,
person asked me, "What's the anaconda?" They know the cobra, but the
right.
anaconda, and I showed it to you, and you like, "Oh, I see," because anaconda is a big snake with a big head, so the
Yeah.
movements is going to be wide.
Right.
And you know when a snake is going through the mud, crocodiles
Yeah.
through the mud, and you did just that at the picnic, but you didn't know that you were doing it
No,
because
no.
you wasn't thinking, you
Right.
were just doing.
Yes. Yes.
That's the people who stop thinking and just start doing, being themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Jay,
Right.
you're gonna find a lot of stuff.
Right.
Interesting.
No, right. No, it's a reflection. I want to ask about back, kind of coming back to the animation.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know we drifted
No,
off.
no, no
It's just so
apology,
much.
no apology at all because everything that you're sharing for it's so much value because we're hitting different things. We're hitting talking about the history of what was going on in LA, the different what was going on at different times, talking about the Popper Spring. So everything is, I think it's,
Nobody wants to talk about the history of it. Nobody wants to talk about the culture. They
and
just
that's why
do
we're
it
here.
now and move on,
Yeah.
and they want to get from A to Z. What
Uh,
about G and M
exactly.
and I? And you got to get through all that before you can get here.
Right, because
Everybody wants to get here.
yeah, then they're all connected. You can't get to Z without going through BC, so we got to get through that. But
And also, sorry, I mean to
yeah,
cut
yeah.
you off again with the dances, the tap dancing. You
Mm,
have to know that too.
the tap dancers. Okay.
Trying to get into tap because in the 70s, it wasn't no dance studios. There was no dance studios. We had martial arts studios. So a lot of people also was into martial arts.
Interesting. Okay.
And some people include their martial arts into their dance styles, if they want to call it that, or the disciplines of martial arts. For
Mm,
instance, the stork, the tiger, the bear, the lion, the eagle.
mm, Wow.
They would
Yeah.
implement that into dance movement at that movement. Animation, making the creature, trying to imitate the creature from the
Right.
creature's perspective. But nobody want to talk about that. It's think it's all just robotics, and is robotics and animation is different.
That's exactly what I was gonna ask. What's the difference between robot and animation?
Animation is, in my opinion, is making something come alive. You're imitating the creature and stuff. Robotics is mechanical.
Mechanical. Okay.
So if I'm I'm here, I'm moving my arm,
Mm,
I'm
mm,
moving my arm, I'm moving my arm, the swivel of the shoulder, the
mm,
swivel of the shoulder, swivel of the elbow, swivel of the elbow.
mm,
That's all it is. Swivel of the elbow. The
mm,
wrist, swivel of the wrist.
mm,
Now, if I'm moving everything,
mm. Okay. Okay. Keeping that mechanicalness on every part of
it's
yourself.
the machine um doing human parts, doing
Mm,
the human tasks.
okay. What, and then mannequin, would you say when you really pushed that style of mannequin, would you say people were talking about mannequin as well, or
I didn't see nobody.
talking about
But
mannequin?
the ones that were when I was coming up and doing it, they don't dance no more. A lot of people don't dance no more.
Okay.
When they retire, they got families, they are older, some passed away, some have health issues. It's played out. It's played out a lot, especially in the Black culture. But now you go to a big festival and presentation means everything. You can't go to a big stage looking halfway decent, sloppy.
Mm,
That's disrespectful, Jay. So if you're going onto a stage, you're going to perform about a 500, 5,000 people.
right.
I'm expecting you to wear something's like, oh shoot, what's he about to do? So
Right.
you can bust to the moon.
Right.
A lot of people, they just want to come regular jeans, t-shirt, jacket,
Yeah.
just dress normal and think that's it.
Right.
So I don't be impressed with that. I want to see creativity with the appearance. Appearance is half the look.
Yes.
It's half that's part of the culture.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
look.
Right. And that's interesting because like it's the whole package. It's not just the movements, it's the outfit, your presentation. And it is interesting. I do think it's interesting how maybe now, maybe more because how do I say? Since YouTube and social media, all that is out, people can see the dance, they see the dance and they like the dance, right? But they don't necessarily understand the culture part that comes with it, the attitude, the approach, the clothes.
Yeah, you gotta
So,
understand that
right.
too. You
Right. So
gotta
it's
go
the
to
whole
certain events.
right.
Like Gizmo, he invites everybody all the time. Come to the lowriding events. He
Mm,
speaks on that all the time. Come to the lowriding events. The lowriders, they're gonna play that music. And when you hear that certain music, if you're a real one,
mm,
it's gonna kick in. Boom. And I'm gonna go accordingly to what I'm hearing
yes.
on this fly. You're not gonna pre-plan it or nothing. You
Right.
know,
Right.
when I do my events, I try to make it where it's what it is. It's
Right.
that real feel culture, and I try to invite everybody. Some people don't come because others, that's fine.
Right. Right.
Still gonna,
Personal.
you
Whatever.
know,
Right. But you,
that's
yeah.
fine.
Yeah. You can we not everybody gonna, always
No,
be
that's
want to be part of it.
it's okay.
Yeah.
I likes
Exactly.
that. It makes me want to go harder.
Right. Right. Exactly.
But now, go ahead. No, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I was gonna say, Colin, he another question because Colin's really into
No,
robots.
that's good, Collins. We can talk later on.
Yeah, like you, I think definitely it would be great for you guys to meet in person. But Colin was asking, what are the main differences? What are the main different types of robot, and what distinguishes each of them? So I guess you have the mannequin, you have
We gotta do
Android.
that. We gotta do that.
That's in person.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
That's
The
Yeah,
something. But
man, I definitely.
it is a little difference. It is a difference.
Mhm.
Some slightly, but in my opinion, some more than others, and some slightly. But also now, Collins and anybody else, you have to have the mindset. You
Mm.
have to think of that particular character.
Mm,
You got to think as a mannequin would think, trying to be human, or an android. You see the movies like Terminator. You see the Terminator. You
mhm.
see the cyborg, the lady Terminator.
Yeah.
And she's trying to move a certain way. You see the $6 Million Man. So you got to go back more. You see the Avengers.
Yes.
Yeah, the Iron Man is.
Yeah.
You see certain movies try to do it, but now you're trying to put it onto the street dance platform, the real and raw stuff. Yeah, we gotta do one-on-one in person. But
I,
I have people come to the picnics, so when they see the veterans in the conversations, they'll get a lot of information. They'll just watch them. When they hear music, they're gonna respond. You know, I was coming from, where was I coming from? I was coming from Western. This is before my first car got wrecked. And I got to a light and I was playing So Rough, So Tough. Me, I like my music loud. That's how I grew up on. And there was a younger lady. She was like in her late teens. And it was an older lady with her cane. I wish I had my camera. And it was doom, 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 doom. She started busting out, cane and all. I'm like, oh
wow.
shit. I wasn't surprised because again, it's LA.
Right.
You can see it anytime. I gotta show you. Wait.
Yeah, okay.
This is an older lady. So she had her cane and she was walking and she heard this. Next thing you know, she started doing this.
Hey.
Oh shit. I was like, what was this? I wanted to get her information and stuff. She was getting down, but at first when she was walking like she had ailments. But that proves my point. When you hear the music, you forget everything.
Right.
And you get it in. And her granddaughter's like, Grandma, stop. You embarrassing me. Now, Grandma was getting it in. Another person was looking at her. I heard the dude was like, yeah, that's right. I was impressed. And this is earlier last year.
Wow. Okay.
So that proves my theory. Different LA. LA is known.
Wow.
That's some mecca. You have to play the music and be in the right atmosphere. We can go to events. Here we go. We can go to events and it'll be a certain, like a one-on-one popping event. Everybody knows the environment, the protective space, but now go in an unprotected space, something that you can't control. Go to the streets, go to a major festival like Limerick Park.
Right.
Have somebody put on some music, some Less Work by Prince, or even some Megatrons, or Planet Detroit. Put on some Planet Detroit. Watch, you're gonna see somebody get in.
Wow.
They haven't done it in a long time because it's played out.
Right.
Their mindset, they have forgotten, so they're trying to bust it out, and it's like, oh, okay. And their foundations, you can tell they used to get down back in the day. They used to be raw.
Right. It comes out like they go back into that time when they were going at it. So it's like yeah.
So that's the reason why a lot of times I still try to do my street shows or whatever, trying to keep everything alive and and people, they love it. They like, oh shoot. And then they get to dancing, the girls, women too, not just guys. It be women busting some moves and stuff. When I did a parade in Gardena, a lady almost got me. She came out. I like to offer my cane to the people to put them on the spot. I had to like, oh shit, it was busted. She used the full cane. This is in Gardena. And I'm saying to myself, who is this? But with parades, remember I was telling you, you have to keep going. So I couldn't really stop. So I was trying to come back later to get information, but I couldn't. But I wish I had. Oh, she would have blew your mind.
Wow. Okay.
She would have blew your mind.
Speaking of street performing, how many years have you been street performing?
The first one I did, 90, no. 2002. I was because I was going to Venice Beach. We used to go to Venice Beach. So during Halloween, I had a Frankenstein mask. It looked like Frankenstein, but I put ponytails in his head.
Okay.
A lot of times we go to Hollywood. In Hollywood, they will block off the street so the revelers can come out. And a lot of times getting pictures. So I'm like, they like this Frankenstein mask. What if Frankenstein was popping? So I went to Venice. Michael Collier, the actor, the comedian, he was doing shows on Venice Beach at that similar spot where they showed the thing, White Man Can't Jump. Remember the three singers?
Right.
It's that same little corridor.
Okay.
So I said, let me do a couple of street shows right there because I'm thinking on animation. I'm thinking flat top.
Okay, right.
So I said, let me try this. Uh, they wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. So after like 30 minutes, and Michael Carter did come. I said, "Give me 20 minutes, bro," because that was his stage. I'm disrespecting him. He was cool with it,
Mm.
so I did it. Nah. But that was my very first one. But then after the Poppers picnic, and after a couple of times, until remember I told you Everett made my face.
Yes.
Went to the magic store, got my top hat, got my gloves, and then I did that 3 weeks later on Hollywood, just to see how the people would respond to it. I got an old picture. This was before I put the bandana on it. It was just white with the white house shoes. But I wanted them to see the hood side of things as well as the classy side of things. You know,
Mm.
the Broadway nights, the Broadway stage,
Yes.
and you have the dancers with the top hats with the canes,
Right,
and
right.
then you had the Nicholas brothers with
Ah,
the dancers
yes.
with the hats with the canes. So I want to have that aspect, but I also want to have the hood perspective with the house shoes, the black and white, sometimes the letters. So my first one, I'm gonna say 2000 and shit 8
That was it. Okay.
after the picnic, and
Wow.
then was doing stuff ever since.
Wow.
Hollywood, all the festivals, and then trying to get the street performers that were set up and trying to bring them up and out. Because a lot of them, they weren't on boxes. A lot of the Bay Area cats was on boxes, but a lot of the other cats, nah, they weren't on boxes. And then they started learning to be on boxes. I had to get them by keeping their gloves white. If you're gonna, you're a dancer, performer,
Yes.
right? So you're representing a whole culture. So people that see on here, I'm representing for Rhonda, Mary, Chibi, you, Colin, when I'm doing a show. I want to make sure I'm representing for everybody at correctly.
Right.
So when they see it, okay, that's what's up. So when they see any of them doing it, maybe they might think of me. They're like, okay, the level, the quality is high. You know,
Wow.
at least I'm
Okay.
trying to. I'm trying to, you know.
I know Ebony, she's just sharing some questions in here.
Hey, yeah, she's the one that first told me about this.
Yeah, yeah. So
Hey, you.
I gotta bring it up. Ebony asked, she has two questions. The first one is, can you tell us about some female leaders in robot or animation that people should know about and speak to for information? And then the second question is, do you have any advice for people who are trying to learn about robot and animation but can't travel to meet people like yourself? How can they learn what the styles are and how to do it correctly? So one is about, the women in the community, and the other one is about learning the how to do it.
You gotta go. You gotta come to the community. I hate to go that way. Yeah. Remember? Wait. It's a motorcycle that's coming through. Remember when I was telling you when I was driving, and that lady started getting down and dancing with the cane? Ebony, you gotta come to the where ground zero. You gotta come out of action on a regular basis. You never know. There's a lot of women that come to the picnics that used to get down. That's why they come. Silver Stick Robot, she's coming out. She's in Louisiana right now. She's coming back to Cali. Lady Mason says she's coming. She's gonna try to come this time. AK is always there. From Groovatrons, she's always there. Mona, there's ladies there.
Okay.
But a lot of the youngsters or the ones that have events don't really reach out to them. Why? I don't know. I try to, make it where they can meet and greet, but they're out.
Mm-hmm.
As far as your second question, just be yourself. Don't try to be like nobody else per se. You can see something, you might get an idea. That was tight, but I want to try and flip it and do it maybe this way or this way. We all eat foods different. We all listen to different music. So we all should be able to dance different. But the fundamentals should be the same, stay on beat with the music. Don't look raggedy. Don't bite nobody's moves direct and then claim you did it. Yeah, just Ebony, me and you talked before when she came out here. she got a glimpse and stuff, very nice. I'm looking forward to seeing you again too. She's a real nice lady, but anybody can dance, but not can you entertain,
Mm.
you know? For example, go look on no, I think you can dance, the new one. You'll see some of the acts on there. They look okay. You think they're getting down. They look okay. They press the part, and then when you see them, like, that was okay. And then you see others, t-shirt, jeans, or whatever. Oh, they good. They got potential. Now, put them in a tux. Put
Right,
them in an outfit. It's gonna be a whole different ballgame.
right, right.
And it's not that expensive. The outfits that we had, well, for me, they weren't real expensive outfits. You just had to be creative and put stuff together. A lot of the street shows that the guys have that you see there was they put those outfits together, like the hat, or they preserve it if they really care. Well, this is the same hat I've worn since 2008.
Wow.
That
Okay.
same hat. It hasn't changed. I had showed at the Ebony. So that's a secret from you guys. It's the same hat. So
Wow.
you guys can count 2008, all the shows I've done, all the this, that, and the other. That's the same hat.
Taking care of everything, your appearance, everything,
You
everything.
have to, because you're representing a culture.
Right.
And that's one thing people gotta understand. Learn the culture, Ebony. Try to. If you don't know everything, ask questions like you're asking me right now. So no, that's cool. Learn the culture, learn what the past was. So when you're in the present, you can create the future to make it better.
Hmm.
So it's like Jay, if you're teaching students, you want them students to be better than you. You don't want them to be mediocre. You want them better. So you find the best qualities of somebody and build on that. And their weaknesses, have them practice on that.
Right.
For me, when I'm doing my workshops, I ask people, are you left-handed or right-handed? They're right-handed. So naturally, their right hand is going to have the most robotic work. So I had them put this hand down and work on your left to match. Then close your eyes and do that same movement.
Right.
what
Getting
I find
deeper,
about this.
really deeper into it. Right.
You have to know the mindset. Anybody can robot, but do you have the mindset of the robot trying to be a human?
Here's a question. What makes, in your opinion, what makes someone an incredible robot or a great robot? Because so many people do it, but what do you think is the thing that separates those that are good to those that are great?
Making them not look human when they don't look human.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm standing here and we're talking, so now I'm not human. I'm here. I'm human, but I'm not human.
Right.
Robot trying to imitate the human. If that makes sense.
Right. You were a human imitating a robot, or we're right there?
That's something you got to figure out.
Okay.
But no, it's just you trying to be the robot. Okay, you're trying to be the robot, but now you're trying to be the robot trying to imitate the human.
It's another
See
layer.
the twist?
There's a whole different approach.
In my personal opinion, you can ask people, they'll probably have different other aspects and perspectives, and that's cool. That's cool. That's what makes this, our culture so, because it's a lot of various perspectives,
Right.
But as everybody's on the same train, when you see a train, you got different cars, but they're all on that same track. They're going to that same destination.
Right.
They're all connected in some kind of way. That's how you got to think.
Okay.
Unfortunately, some people don't think that way, and that's fine.
Right.
Right. But no, that's what it is. For me, I want to see somebody, I want to see something unreal. Me, I want to be entertained. I'm like, I want a certain task. Okay, he's doing this. I want to see the storytelling, the robotic mind, the aspect, the mentality.
Okay. What?
Because me, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Continue.
No, I'll say the first thing I look at, especially if they're performing, I look at their outfit, their dress. I look at the shoes, gloves, okay, hat, if they got a hat on, outfit, face, facial expression. I look at all that right off the top before you even bust a move. because I'm already hearing the music. So I get the music, I'm hearing it. So I
Mhm.
want to make sure the movement matches the music,
Mm, mm,
whether you're in 2 speed or 3 speed or off speed, coming back to speed.
mhm. Okay, okay. Another, actually, I was thinking this as we were
No,
talking.
let's talk.
What? Damn. Okay, I have two questions. I feel like this may be the last two because I know we're
No,
at
it's cool.
the minute. But my first question is, what are some of the, how do I say? What were some of the moments when you were roboting, when you were in LA, either battles or you saw that you were like, wow, like what is a highlight or a memory you have where you saw someone do something crazy that it's just still in your memory till today, that someone impressed you, or maybe it was a battle, or is there any a memory that comes up of something like, wow, that person, he did this and never gonna forget that.
Okay, before we go into persons, we can go into the battle situation.
Okay.
I'm sorry, people. It was Boogaloo Dan and Gizmo when we went up to the Bay Area.
Oh, they
Yeah,
went at it. Okay.
yes. I love
Interesting. Okay.
that one. Oh shoot. I gotta hold on, it's a lot.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
trying to, it's a lot. Me and Flat Top
Oh,
at the LA street scene. Me against Flat Top. It was me and Kevin Favors. We was People's Republic of Pop Lock.
okay.
And we was the two finalists against Flat Top. Me and Flat Top was cool. And we spoke kind of briefly, got in each other, whispered, let's give him a show. I already knew he was gonna do. And two of his moves I couldn't mess with. I already know. And
Uh-huh.
when he did the Chinese split, now this is when he was in his prime.
Yeah.
This is downtown LA,
Okay.
80, 80, oh, don't let me get the line, 87,
Mhm.
86. That was the festival everybody would go to, the LA street scene. That was the same festival that um it was just that was big. 6,000 people, we downtown. And me and Flat Top. And Flat Top did his strobe, came down to the ground, held it, boom. All it was done. Now, Kevin, Prince of Waves, he had waves. He was doing anacondas, he was doing cobras. He was doing worms.
Right.
Like shit, he was like going crazy. And I'm boom, bow, boom. I'm hitting Frankenstein on him. I'm hitting old Scarecrow on the pole type stuff. But that flat top, it was just that move. I'll
Mm,
never forget that. But it was so much fun. You
wow.
know, that one, that thing with Gizmo and Boogaloo Dan. Now what people that I saw, that was Jerry Cooper at Manual, 10th grade.
Mm,
Oh, it was him. He took out 10 dudes. I'm standing right there watching. Went to Manual Arts. Remember I told you Manual Arts High was like Pop Lock High.
mhm,
Everybody was getting down, guys and girls.
mm.
Every time a guy did something, Jerry did something. Next person come, he do something. That's how I got my battle mentality. It was from watching Jerry. And he had the cigarette, and he waved his eyebrow. Eyebrow came around, came to
Nice.
the side. Um, he did a move, the eggshell. I can't describe it, but it was like he was in an eggshell, like a bird that was hatching and came out. So like, oh shit. Um, Snoopy was there. Earthquake was there, but Earthquake back then was called One Arm Pop Locker.
Okay.
County was there. Count Bopula, Dr. Business, Snoopy, Anthony Bailey, Rubber Band Man. I
You
always think of
right.
him. He's short, but he had bigger feet. So he would have his angles and his waves. And when you talk about animation, it wasn't animated, but he'll spoon and it boom, boom, and he'll turn. Now
Interesting.
he's already leaning. He's already leaning. And I'm looking like, oh. And I'm attributing that to maybe his feet was longer. And he was a short guy, like I'm 5'11".
Mhm.
He's maybe about like this.
Okay.
Yes, he's down there. He's straight and he's leaning. And then next thing you know, he's like a crocodile. You know, a crocodile's going to the swamp.
Yes.
He's taking his time. He's looking. I'm like, the fuck is this? That was one person you couldn't battle against because it was so unorthodox. And the song that makes me remind me of that one is Fatback, Backstroke. Every time when I hear
Yeah.
that, that's why that song is so popular to me, because I think about that moment. So, when it comes in, don't know, that's when he'll lean, he'll come in, bam, and he'll go again. You think it's gonna come back? No, he's like, we can do this some more. He'll come in more, bow. Then he'll look at you. Then he'll come in more, boom. I'm like, shit.
That's interesting.
He's shorter, so he doesn't have that much. I'm just assuming he
Yeah.
doesn't have much weight to hold on to. If
Right.
she was short and slim, oh, he was killing folks. It's
Yeah.
Anthony Bailey, Rubber Band Man.
I know you've mentioned on the What's Popping page a couple of times. When people talk about a very flexible mover or even a storyboard P, which he's from New York, but I think I think you may have said like it reminded you of Anthony the Rubber Band Man, which now you're bringing him up again. Interesting. That's very interesting. I wish there was footage of.
We didn't have cameras back then, Jay.
Right.
That's the thing. If we had cameras back then, I hate to go there. A lot of guys today, they wouldn't have a chance. I'm sorry to say, they wouldn't have a chance because everybody was original, everybody was different, and everybody was being creative in their stuff. And a lot of things they would do, they wouldn't understand because it came from a hood perspective. Because again, a lot of dancers were gang members. So, but it's a different era. It's 2025. You do what we do for 2025.
Ebony asked, do you think modern animators and robots have lost originality?
Have lost their originality? No, I wouldn't say they lost originality. I would say try to go outside the box. Don't try stuff. My advice to try stuff that nobody's never done and seen before. And I say this before, try it. If it doesn't work, okay, your conscience is clear. But now if you do like it, you see it, let me try this in front of people and see their responses to it.
Yeah.
Because the stranger's gonna tell you. Your friends is like gonna pump you up regardless if you're doing bad or good. But go in front of a bunch of strangers that you don't know.
Do something.
And see the responses, Oh, here we go. China, when you see videos, some guys in China dancing, this is gonna make people so mad.
I think I know where you're going with this, but continue. I think I know.
No. And then they go, ooh, stuff. And I'm like, okay, what does he do to make him go, ooh and ah? And let me back. Maybe I didn't see nothing. Maybe I missed something. I go back, I see it again. And in that case, they've only seen so much. They haven't seen the full spectrum. So I can't knock them. So that's when it goes back to her question about originality. Try to go outside the box. At least try to.
Right.
But then go look at certain movies. Go look at certain cartoons. Go look at not videos. Don't look at nobody else's videos. You might look at other videos that inspire you, like, okay, he got me fired up. Let me go grab and go get it in. But go look at different stuff that you wouldn't think.
Yeah.
And just try to perceive that or imitate that into physical form.
Right. I was gonna say, like, interviewing you. Recently, I also interviewed Chuck Powell. I did Boogaloo.
Oh yeah. Right.
And again, it sounds every time I interview these individuals, when they talk about how everybody was just trying to push the boundary, everyone was coming up with different movements, and because it wasn't so, I feel, classified and termed how it is now. Like, I feel nowadays everyone's, like, they're trying to label every movement, which I'm not saying that's bad, but I feel because so much labeling and trying to scientific it,
remember I was telling you, complex.
It becomes very book, like reading a book. Like here's the manual of the dance. Versus back then there was no manual.
That's what I was trying to tell you.
People like when people talk about animation, yeah, some people are gonna say they're doing a dinosaur. Some people say they're doing a cartoon. Like it was free. There was this freedom of this creation going on. And I can see maybe to Ebony's question of modern animators.
Everybody wants to be so complex and stuff. Keep it simple.
Right. Yeah. Like, or just people just watching maybe too much of other people. They're like, okay, I need to look like this. They have a person in mind.
Just
And
stay on beat. Stay on beat with your music, Jay. Try different stuff. Try practicing, not practicing, but put on some classical music. Listen to the harmonies of the horns. Listen to the harp. And look at other people doing performances of a different aspect. I don't want to give too much info on that, but I will say like Harpo Marx. Watch him perform and see how, not imitating him, but that'll give you that mindset of a person playing a harp. That makes any sense. And I'll stop right there. But no, everything's so try to make it so complicated. Jay, why is everybody make it so complicated? Just like you said. I know it's 2025. Everything wants to evolve, whatever.
Yeah.
So me and you go on Winnetka. We look up for a certain topic, and we can physically go in there, change the definition, punch it in. The next person that sees that same definition, they're gonna see what we just read.
Right.
Like, oh, wait a minute, what happened to you see?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. I do feel technology has played a role on how people view the dance now. The availability of it, the information that's out, social media, versus before, there wasn't any social media. It was just you had to go out and you had to go, and you were lucky if you saw someone doing something that you're like, wow.
Wait, and I'm going to cut you off. I'm sorry, but it just came to my head. Also, another thing I looked at a lot of Star Wars, R2D2 and C3PO. Maybe I was trying to imitate them and how they were, it was a man in there, but
Yeah.
we're kids. We're looking like, oh, what the fuck is this? The computer age in the 70s. So
Right.
we're trying to do certain movements like that, So it was a lot of things. You guys have a whole lot more to look at. You guys got so much more stuff in your repertoires. We didn't have the stuff. We just had the streets and each other and experiences. You guys got Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, so all that shit.
It's almost overwhelming, I think, with the information that's out. That's just so much to look at. I think it's too much at some point.
I will say it's way more global. It's way more global. Cats in China wasn't thinking about no popping, no 70, 80 something. UK? No. Remember, they was doing new wave. Everybody was into new wave. I'm gonna write you a list of certain songs and tracks. As soon as we get off here, it's all gonna come to my head, and you can be like, "Oh, let me listen to this." Yeah. Then when you listen, then you're gonna understand what I'm talking about. No, I see what's going on. Because it was a lot. We just had the music, and we had the experiences of each other and our friends, and the streets.
Right. That was your source. That was the source. I want to ask two more questions. Actually, my first question is, from your experience street performing, what were some of the highlights or things you've learned from street performing that really stand out? It's so much, I'm sure. Like
what me and you do, it's a blessing. There's a lot of people that can't move, they can't walk, can't talk. And I speak on this all the time. I've done it 5-6 times. I saw Gizmo do it twice, Flat Top 3 times, Tick-a-Lot twice, Snap once, Goldmine like 4 times. When we're doing our shows, we hit the youngsters, kids, and people with disabilities, especially kids in wheelchairs, crutches, or whatever. Because we can do, including you can do things that doctors can't do. That's create a smile. That's why I try to tell all poppers and these robots, you guys have a fucking gift. Use that to you, because a lot of people can't do. I was at a thing last Saturday. It's a festival for people with disabilities and their families. Go look at the tape, and you know me, after Iggy, Iceman, Adverb, B-Boy Don, and 2 of his friends, they're doing a locking and popping, and I did my 10-minute skit afterwards. You know me, Jay, I'm going to the people. I'm bringing them out. I didn't pull out the regular Tim and Jose. I put out the little kid that may have a mental issue, or little kid is kind of disabled, because nobody pays attention to them.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna fuck with them. Bring them out. Oh, now everybody's smiling. Daddy's crying because he ain't seen his son happy in so long. This, that, and the other. That right there.
Wow.
And then it was a person that has it was a muscular dystrophy.
Yeah.
What's that disease that Michael J. Thomas has, where you can't control your muscles?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Okay, anyway, somebody was making a comment about that because he can't control his muscles. It was a certain scene, but now
Oh, Parkinson's.
was-
Maybe
okay,
Parkinson's might be.
it looks like he's popping
Like, oh, right.
good with it, but he can't help it. It's like, oh shit, that'll make you feel like kind of bad. It's like I can control this shit all day. He can't. That's a curse for him or her, but that's a gift for us. So what do? You try to encourage that. See, but people don't want to talk about that. They just want to learn about this dance or whatever. What if for every one person that can do what we do, there's 5 people that can't. Gotta think about that. So you gotta, that's just me personally. So I just try to spread love and use the street shows on that, and then try to use that to spread the culture. So if I can get 5 people interested and want to learn how to robot and pop, oh, I've done my job. When I go to the community events with Click Radio, because he's the DJ, Devontae, for the Parks and Recs, or we're doing a parade. So I'm promoting the culture, but I'm reaching out to the people. I'm not reaching out to the 50 and 60-year-old. I want that little 7, 8-year-old that never seen shit like this before. It's like, oh, mama, I like this. Because he sees how their reaction is. Next thing you know, I'm getting an email or something. My daughter want to learn, how did you do that? And can we get some lessons stuff? I get quite a bit of that. You know, like when you go to these battles, Jay, let's keep it real. What's the age ranges for a lot of these dance battles?
Yeah, I mean, I want to say probably like mid-20s. You have teenagers, but like probably like 30s, 20s, I would say. 20s.
Now those in there, just my opinion, people gonna be mad at this. They're gonna be mad at this. Instead of them being in the contest, why don't you train 3 and 4, 8, 9, 10-year-olds? Put them in the contest. That's how you make it grow, in my opinion. You don't see the martial arts tournaments and stuff with the veterans. The veterans got students. They're putting them in their tournaments. And now their tournaments big, because now those students, they got bigger. Now they're teaching it, but now their senseis are still there.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Why? Well, also, you make a point, and this is a thought I've had. I feel that a lot of these dance events, the audience are also dancers. Why is it that only dancers are paying to be an audience for other dance? Does that make sense? It's like you have a battle or an event, and the people that are there are dancers competing, and the people that are watching the dancers compete are also dancers, versus like the public. Like I would think that, wouldn't we want to have the public viewing it? Like, does that make sense?
You go to those festivals. When I'm at Taste of Soul, when Gold Mines at Taste of Soul and stuff, it's the public. That's the festival. It's once a year, and it's in LA on Crenshaw, and it's like 400,000 people. Do the math.
Right.
So it's not the tips, because I have a regular job. It's the smiles. You know my motto. You can look at it on my Facebook. So I try to create smiles one face at a time. So, you know, and any pop or any robot or stuff, you're walking entertainment. Why use it? So let's, like you said, a lot of the dancers, they're dancers too.
Right.
How do you solve that? Maybe don't have battles.
Interesting.
Because where I come from, the battles is in the streets. You'd have 8, 9 circles, and you can battle within your peers or go to a major center, but make it where everybody's involved. Invite the common family person. Don't just invite all the dancers you know. Invite the neighbors that you never talked to before. They might be interested, but they wouldn't know if they don't know about it.
Right. Yeah, that's because hearing your perspective of like the children, the people with support needs, like how you see them and you bring them into it.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
How old were you when you first saw what you're doing?
Yeah, I was. It had to be like 2007. So,
I mean, when you was a kid, did you see dancing when you were a kid?
so when I was like elementary school, I mean, I knew of Michael Jackson. So I would,
And who didn't?
right, like everybody, like I would like on the floor, acting, spinning around, acting like I knew breaking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it wasn't only until probably like 18 or no, probably like 17 where I saw the ABDC, the America's Best Dance Crew, and I think that was when it really I was like, oh
See,
wow.
that's the new generation type thing, and that was cool for me personally. When I first saw that show, I watched it a couple of times. I'm like, that's okay,
mm,
because I've seen it all. I've seen it
yeah.
all in the 70s and 80s. I'm just trying to help and do my part. That's all.
Yeah, yeah, no. My last question I want to ask Midnight is, what's a message you would like to tell the current generation or the future generation of dancers, for anyone here that's watching or for anyone that will be watching this video?
Shoot, I got a few messages. Um, damn, it's hard to say. Just be yourself. Again, anybody can dance and stuff, but can you entertain?
Mm,
If you're gonna go that route, and I don't mean just street shows. I mean like actually do some things, help your community out.
mm,
Um, you use the dance in other ways, in good ways. We're at times right now. Well, for a lot of people, it's messed up right now. So they can use a smile. They can use some encouragement. They can use something to look forward to. You know, um, create some shit, create some boundaries, or make it easier for others to um put people in a position to where they can, if they can't create the smiles. I'm not saying for me, but just in general, if they can't create smiles, put everything in the position so they and bring them so they can come and create the stuff and entertain the youth,
right,
because the youth only respond to what they see. They see positive stuff, more likely they're going to be positive minded people.
right.
And don't just listen to one source of person, get a variety, and then you can choose your own dots. Just connect the dots. You
Mm,
know,
right.
if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, no, it does. It does. Wow. Well, I
You,
want.
sir, for you, go more. Go more into the box. Go longer. Look into stuff. I'm for you because the way your movement is, you can do so much today. You
Mm,
know, you can get technical. You can stay in your box. You can get robotic, and all of a sudden you can get electric. Then
yeah.
all of a sudden, bam, you can turn into the animal. Bam. Then you can turn into the machine. Then you can turn to the abstract art form. The on the computer, I don't know how to describe it, but when you change the information goes from here to here.
Right.
How is that seen in physical form? Electric current? Is it is it numbers and they change fraction of a second?
Mhm.
You know, think of your family, your family situations, your past experiences. Tell the stories.
Mm,
Be the waving mime. The mime tells a story without using their voice. They use body language.
mhm,
Use more mime into your act.
mm,
I guarantee you, you put on a tux, something nice,
mm.
and you're white, I guarantee you. I'm just being honest,
Okay.
and you're younger. A person with money, capital, they're not going to invest in an older person like me. They're going to invest in a kid or a
Mm,
youngster. That's 20 years they can invest in and make money in. With a veteran like myself, or older, they're like, they don't know. But we have like with Chuck Powell,
mhm,
Vic, we have the knowledge and the info, but you just can't put the knowledge out there all the time.
mm,
You know, that's sad. I'd want to, like when I did my first class at JV,
mm,
because I'm so proud of her, Brianna. She's with Funny Bones now.
mm.
She was 6 when she first started popping with me. Mom brought me to the house, practice with her. She came to stuff at JV, And look at how old she is now and still getting down.
Wow.
I use her as an example a lot because I'm so proud of her because she didn't know nothing. I
Wow.
had to show her hit, slow motion, tutting, all that stuff. She came to Homeland. Everybody was like, who the fuck is this? What is this? Now,
Hey.
this age, she cleared the whole floor out. Nobody had no video because nobody didn't expect it.
Right.
But I heard the stories. So that made me proud.
Wow. Nah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful to see like somebody growing over time. They
Yeah,
put,
and then make other people want to do the stuff. Like when I did Carver, there's a lady, a girl. There's some of the videos are out, and you can see the kids trying to imitate me, or I put them on the box. Now, there's somebody special. For once, they are somebody. You guys want to use your dance to make somebody, make them somebody. That makes sense.
man, I want to say, Midnight, I want to thank you for sharing your story and also the
Well, thank you for reaching out to me.
words of wisdom, like it's not just dance that we're learning, that we're talking about here, but just life in general of how to the human relationship with others. And I really love and Ebony, and we all really love it in the comments about what you said about Ebony says, I'm gonna get a shirt that says use you guys have a fucking gift, use it. Because that is so true. Like we have a gift, and I think sometimes it go over people's heads. They keep that gift and they don't, it becomes a big ego. They keep it to themselves or maybe for their own benefit, but like you said, to give it to bring other people up, that's the I would say that's the core of this
Okay,
of
but there's a twist. I don't mean to cut you off. I'm gonna let you go back.
Mm.
You want to give it to the people that's gonna use it correctly.
Mm.
You can't just put it out there because you don't want to waste nobody's time because you don't want your time wasted. So you don't want to give it to somebody and they're gonna F it off.
Right.
You want to give it to somebody with some potential they
Mm.
can use it. So now I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, giving it responsibly.
Yeah, you got to be responsible.
Yeah.
That's the key. That's why you can't really just give out free information like that, because if you don't value your craft and your art forms and respect it, don't expect nobody else to.
Yeah.
So when they see that you respect your art form and your craft, oh, then they'll respect you, and then your art forms, then they'll look into it.
Right. Wow.
I'm trying to do it like you, Animated J.
You trying to do it like me?
Yeah.
Man, we're doing it. Yeah, man. Yeah. Man, well, Midnight, I want to thank you again for taking this time to
Thank
share.
you for reaching out to me.
This video will be posted on YouTube and Instagram so that people can watch this again. Also, for any donations, there's a link we have. So for anyone watching here, you can leave a donation for Midnight for his time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and again,
Because a lot of these events, I come out of my pocket. I do. I
Mhm.
do. But for me personally, a lot of guys not going to come out their pocket. I think it's worth it. I personally think it's worth it.
Yeah.
For all the kids, black, brown, red, green, yellow, color doesn't matter. I came around, I went to a junior high school and it was predominantly Hispanic, white, Asian and stuff. And nobody was popping until Roosevelt Wilson, the milkman, came out and did the show, ninth grade. Oh, wait a minute. Now he's representing for the black kids.
Mhm.
Because again, the Mexican kids was into the disco and hard rock. Well, let me stop because I can because
Right.
again, it's so much.
Right.
You can't do nothing in two.
Oh yeah, no.
You understand?
This
They
is
have to come out here for like about a week.
Yes.
Then maybe, like I can give you a name. I don't want to put him out there. He came out here for one day. He hadn't left yet.
Really?
Yeah, and it's two ladies. They came out here thinking they come visit, see LA. They didn't realize it was this. It's a Chinese dude. He went to the picnic last year. He didn't realize all this stuff that he'd never heard of or seen. He was only shown this one thing. He's still out here. Jake, I can't pronounce his name. He's still out here to this day. He ain't back home yet.
He's
I'm
like,
like,
this is a
are
whole
you
new
going back
world.
home? He's like, no, I want to learn this. I'm like, okay, go ahead.
Welcome. It's a whole new world. It's a whole new world to hm. Wow.
And he likes to robot and animate and pop. You know,
That's perfect. He's in the right spot. In the right spot.
you know.
All
But
right.
no, I thank you for appreciating. I hope to see you guys soon. You guys can reach out to me anytime, you know.
Cool.
I'm always available, you know.
So,
I work a regular job, and when I get home, on social media, watching the news, or trying to plan another event, because I have something, the dance, the party, part 2. That's next Saturday. Now we did the one where it was an old school party
mhm.
where you can bring a couple or sing and just dance music, where you can have party people, pop lockers, b-boys, hip hop dancers, training people, just regular people, and just have a good time. Old school party where you can slow dance with a couple, with your person. And next week I'll be in Santa Ana, and then June the 28th, San Diego, Pop Lock in the Park, Dago.
Wow.
And then Popper's Picnic, Pop Lock Pandemonium, and that's a lot of people, include me. We'll be 60. That's
Wow.
gonna be big. It's gonna be some lot of stuff jumping off. And that's when I'm having a female funky robot. See, that's another thing too. And that started a tickers challenge and a glider and floaters challenge.
Whoa.
That's also part of popping, the glide and then the foot movement. Remember I was telling you the tap dancers?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. But Jay, that's a whole nother topic.
Another topic to be continued.
To be continued, yeah. But
Okay.
thank you, bro. Thank you for reaching
Yeah,
out.
Midnight. Thank you. And thank you everyone for tuning in. And yeah, man. Hope you have a rest of your day. It's calm midnight.
You
And
too.
yeah,
I
much
know you got a busy day. I know.
yeah, I do. I do. And today's my birthday, so I'm doing all
Oh,
this.
is it? Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah.
How old are you now? Do you mind me asking?
I'm 32. 32.
Okay. 32. I was just roller skating, dancing and drawing. I wasn't doing no popping. I kind of, no, let me stop. I was.
See,
Once you start, you don't stop.
right.
A lot of these people that I seen in Homeland, took them Homeland for the first time and let them see the real, Jay, they're still dancing, still popping.
Wow.
Once you get into this culture, you don't leave. You
Right.
don't. That's what I'm trying to explain to Ebony. You sure you want to get this? Because once you start, you're not going to leave. You're going to be 80 years old and still trying to do this. Okay.
Right. It's always gonna
Same
be.
with you. But I know you got stuff to do. It was nice talking to you guys. Reach out to me sometime whenever you guys want. I'm right here.
Yes. Hopefully during July, and people gonna be coming through. So hopefully there'll be a time around there can connect in person.
It's a lot going on. Venice Beach Takeover, Asia One's doing the Funk and Soul Summit, MacArthur Park. That's a lot. It's a lot going on. July is gonna be busy. July and August.
It is. Yes.
Okay.
All
So
right.
go to work.
Take care, everyone. Take care. And yeah.
Thank you both.
Thank you, Midnight. It was a pleasure.
Oh, bye everybody.
So much.
Oh, they are there. I didn't know they was even there where I can talk to them.
Yeah, everyone that they're just like in the back waiting.
Oh. Hey Chibi, how you doing, sir?
Yeah, Chibi's in here too. So
Okay.
all right.
Yeah, I think Zilla's trying to get on.
Zilla, okay. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna stop this recording and then I'm gonna close the Zoom meeting. And for everyone that wants to be, because I'm gonna do another interview right now with Kumse and Andre. So anyone that wants
Oh, okay. Tell them I said what's up.
okay, we'll do. All right, everyone. I'll see you in the future.